You're listening to Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventures with Kristin and Polly, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello, everybody. Kristin, I love your background.
Oh, my butterflies here. Tiny little butterflies all together in a big butterfly shape. It's my thing.
Wait, and I also noticed your hair is different today. So you really changed things up for this. We must be doing something very special.
Am I even recognizable? I don't even know. Yes, I have naturally curly hair. It's huge and big. And yesterday I got my grays covered and she did a blowout on me. So the hair is long and straight and grayless.
Beautiful. I love it. Okay, welcome everybody, Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventures. And I have my beautiful co-host, Kristin, with the beautiful hair, the luxurious mane hair.
Good morning. Good morning.
She's in LA. I'm in Phoenix area. And we come together once a week to talk about very cool things with Truth, Wellness, Psychic Adventures.
Yes, we do. And if you listeners would like to call in for a reading or a card or anything else you want, 323-203-0815.
And we always, the last little bit of the class, we always pull a card for the week ahead.
Yes.
To give you a little guidance if you care, or a lot of guidance if you care.
However you really care.
Yeah, it's however you want to take it. Okay, so we kind of talked about touching on astrology today.
Yes, I feel as though my contribution to this conversation is going to be more inquisitive than informative because
fair enough. But
I am not an astrology whiz, but I'm into it. But I just feel like I have lots of questions, you know?
Okay. I hope to God I can answer them. But here's my thing. I've taken quite a lot of astrology classes.
り?
And and I think that they're fun. And I think it's really interesting because it depends on the teacher. I think probably the class, well, she teaches, she has a lot of different little classes, but sometimes I listen to her stuff. I really like Molly McCord, but what I like about her, and you've heard me talk about this in the classes before, but what I like about her is almost always the stuff that she is picking up, and her messages are, of course, related to astrology because she's an astrologer, but they almost always align. There's a hummingbird right up my window. They almost always align with the messages that I'm getting from the universe. And so I love that. And I also love that she empowers people. I love that because that's what I think astrology should be about. And because one of my things is, oh my God, people can turn it around because some teachers teach this way and turn it into something to fear.
Oh, I don't like that. I feel like that's the wrong vibe.
Right? You hear about Mercury retrograde, you hear about so many things, you hear about your moon, in a whatever supposed bad placement. And there are no bad placements, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because, for example, when you take these classes, you pull up, you work on each other's charts. My chart was up in class. People look at it.
Was it displayed for all the class to see?
Yeah, and then they kind of discussed portions of it. People looked at it and did an audible gasp.
No, why?
Because if you look at it, you'd be like, holy crap, she's got some life lessons. Which I did have, whatever, we all do. But that's my point. It's everything has the potential to, it doesn't matter what somebody's chart says. It's again, what we choose to do with what we're offered in life. Totally. And I'm not even going to say what we're given in life. I'm going to say what we're offered in life, because we are offered things all day long.
It's true. Yes, we are. And we have to be, we have to have our eyes open, so to speak, to see what our options are, what's being served up. And then we have to make that choice. What are we going to do?
Yes. Okay. So I went together and put some types of astrology. So you have Western astrology, which is like the sun sign, what most people are familiar with, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the same sense, you can have medical astrology. So these are people that just look at the different planets, where they're placed, signs and planets where they are in your chart, because all of them are associated with a body part.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know this. You've blown my mind already, Polly.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool to think about that. Like, for example, I'm a Pisces, and so Pisces is associated with feet. My feet are not one of my strong points.
Really?
They're not. No, because I do so much on them, right?
I love how we started whispering when we're talking. Feet are like it's top secret. But I'm like, really?
If I pulled one of them up, you would see they're not as strong. But I use them. I love my feet for the mobility factor, but I'm not one of those people that can get the cute-toed shoes.
Do you get pedicures regularly?
Yes, I have to.
Okay.
And then I have to tip them very well.
You know what though? I just think that's smart living. I like
Is.
style. What is the Gemini body part? As a Gemini,
I don't know. I'd have to look.
Well, I'm gonna look that up. Also,
yeah, look that right. I don't know all this stuff. I know a few, but I don't know all of it. But Vedic, I was going to talk about Vedic astrology. Have you had your chart done?
I don't know. I feel like we probably have. Like, would you have done my chart?
Sometimes I offer to do it. Like, if there's something like, okay, when I do my readings, sometimes I will ask to look at somebody's chart, because I will say, oh my God, this person has to have like some stuff going on in their second house or whatever. Right. When I look at their lessons. And then I will also tell you this. When I look at charts, I use them a little bit differently, but sometimes it's almost like a little portal into a past life. Like, I can look at something as like a little portal into a past life.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to be on that. Okay. Gemini,
Yeah.
Our body part is our lungs.
Oh, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Communication, breath.
Yeah. I do tend to breathe regularly.
You do. And you talk about breath and Pilates, so that makes sense. Okay, so Vedic astrology, I think, is really cool. It's beautiful. I love it. It's, to me, it's almost like has a little bit more of a spiritual bent on it.
Okay.
Some people believe that it might be more trustworthy. I don't know, what's the right word, than Western, because they really pay attention to the changing patterns of the universe. I don't know if that's, who knows what's the best.
Oh, yeah.
But I have had both done. I've had Vedic done a few times. And here's the other thing, Kristen, if I can just be point blank.
Yes, please.
Okay, I told you that I had my chart done like a week and a half ago and just wanted to leave running out of the room. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then my partner had his chart done also. And he was like, he thought it was like really interesting. He came back talking about all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what they were telling you. I have no idea, because it was so confusing what he interpreted it to be. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's pull up your chart. I have no idea what they were talking about, because the chart that they sent was completely different than his chart. And so then I'm like, okay, maybe did they do the progressive chart? I have no idea. It was so weird. But here's the interesting thing. When they were telling him his stuff off of this other chart, a lot of it made sense to him. And so that's my thing, is that people will be so hungry for self-analysis that you can have a different chart and you will try to make it work. I mean, it's not always going to be fitting, right? It's not always, but there were things in his chart that really he really like honed into.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. Like, it's just you embrace it no matter what it is.
Right, because I feel that when people first start getting into astrology, it's really a tool for self-awareness, right? You start figuring out, this is why I am the way I am, and these are my potentials, and this is my shadow side, so to speak. And so people, when they first get into it, it's great for self-awareness, but we can approach self-awareness in so many ways, right?
Yes.
Evolutionary astrology, which, as I've referenced Stephen Forrest before, I love him.
Mhm.
And that's very much about the soul's evolution. So looking at where you are, right? So it's supposed to be like, we could even say like perhaps a deeper, I don't know. It does a lot with Pluto, so they look at your Pluto placement.
Okay.
And it's very interesting. And
It
that
is interesting to me.
have you done that? No, you haven't done it.
No. I need to, and I've always wanted to, but so obviously I'm a Gemini, and we are amazing Geminis.
Yes.
But I feel like and maybe this is a Gemini trait, like maybe a little bit self-absorbed, and so I'm always thinking more about Gemini than anything else. Like, I know people in my life that I'm close to that are Taurus and Cancer and things like that, but I'm always like, meh, what about the Gemini? So I go deep in Gemini world.
You remember that retreat that we did and almost everybody was a Gemini?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I totally forgot about that, but you're right.
Yeah. And up until then, I thought Geminis were a pain in the ass.
Yeah. And here we are taking over the world.
Isn't that funny?
Street at a time.
That's so funny. Yeah. Okay. So what do you think about, like, would you ever with your husband do a relationship chart? Like look at like how
I feel like that would be beneficial. Like just in the spirit of gaining more knowledge and information and insight. Yes. I think that would be amazing just to know.
Yes. Okay. And here's something that I do want to do. I have not done it, but God knows I do want to do it. I don't know how to do it. I'm not going to fumble around and try to figure out how to do it. They can do a placement, I think it's cartology or something, where they figure out where it's best for you to live, where it's best for you to do work, where it's best, right? So they can look at the lines. And so that I would love to do.
Yes. I'm fascinated now. I went in on this.
Yeah.
What do you offer? Like when it comes to astrology and your services, what is your jam?
Mine is, I think I just have it under astrology, but when they contact me, because when they contact me, I reach out to them and I try to, this is horrible. I try to dissuade them.
Step one.
Well, what I like to do is like a combination astrology and psychic reading.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's like my favorite thing because
well, I mean, if you cover more modalities, then you're just getting more information from a variety of sources. So I'm on board with that. I like
that. And it's just, I like to, I feel like I can offer more and it's not like if all I'm doing is astrology, it's more logical.
Okay.
Right. And I do much better when I'm not just using my logical mind.
Fair enough. Okay.
So I really do try to combine both. I'll look at the chart, but then I like to combine and see, what else do we have going on that's not right, that we might not see readily in the chart. So, and I look at certain things. I love looking at life lessons. Love that. Because we all come in with life lessons.
And some we learn and some are just a battle.
Yeah. And so I love doing things like that. I love, another thing that I think I love looking at, just because it was reflective in my chart, is the relationship between Sun and Saturn. And the way mine is, it presents like where the beginning of your life might, you've got challenges, whatever, but then towards the end of your life, it's rainbows and kittens.
Okay, Sun and Saturn. I'm writing this down. So.
Yeah. So I'm kind of in the rainbow and kitten thing. Even though I complain periodically, I am in the rainbow kitten life stage.
Nice.
Yeah, like a lot of my stuff, I love that.
This is your return. What are we calling it? The second return?
Second Saturn return is coming up, which I'm having a party for.
I know.
I will have rainbows and kittens there.
I would think nothing less. Second Saturn return. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this as well. What are your thoughts because this is all you hear? Like the second something runs amok, if we're not blaming it on full moon, we're blaming it on Mercury's in retrograde.
Yeah.
So what does that actually mean? My guess is it means that it appears the planet Mercury looks like it's going backwards in the sky. But what does it actually mean?
Well, so people will say when Mercury, because Mercury is communication, it's things, and including computers, all forms of communication. So Mercury in retrograde, you can expect things to not run as smoothly. There can be delays. That double check your emails, double check. There can be computer mishaps. But I wouldn't, gosh, Mercury could, I think goes in retrograde like 3 times in 2023 or something. So you can't put your life on hold for, 6 weeks, 3 times a year, or how, it's randomly. I don't know how long it is. But anyhow, it does come out of retrograde on the 15th of September, I believe. But I just say it's a good policy to double check your work anyhow.
Okay. And then, so if that is the case across all planets, we would assume all planets are in retrograde at some point. And if Mercury,
but I don't think that all planets turn retrograde. I'm not a physics person, but I do not think so. I do not think all of them can. I don't think that they all can. But remember, I am not a physicist.
And I will get back to us next week.
Okay, and one other thing, and I don't know if this is true, but my partner / boyfriend / husband told me,
a man's hats, if you will.
The other day that Uranus is the only planet that goes the opposite direction of the rest. So check that out. I don't know. Check that out, because it is interesting, because that planet is the one that represents great change. And guess what house it's in? Mine is relationships. It's in my 7th house.
Really?
Yeah, maybe that's why I have a husband, a boyfriend, and a partner.
All in one.
All in one.
How many houses do we have?
12. And okay, and that's the other thing. So we have these houses, so we have signs, we have planets, and we have the 12 houses. And I love looking, that is something that I really do look at when I do a chart, is I love looking at the houses. I love looking at what planets are in what houses. I love that. I do love that. That's like one of my favorite things to do.
This is fascinating to me. Are we going to cover, you have an upcoming retreat in Sedona at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Are we going to cover any astrology there?
No.
Okay.
Because I don't think we have time, but we could put that into another retreat, but
I'm here for that.
Yeah, but I don't, okay, well, hold on. That's not really true, because it is on the full moon, right? And so we are actually on the first night, our wonderful Carolyn, our first night, we are doing a full moon grid.
Really?
A full moon crystal grid. Everybody's going to create their own full moon crystal grid.
I love that for us. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Don't tell anybody, it's a secret. I mean, for everybody going to the retreat,
don't tell anyone it's a secret. Let's say it on the radio. Perfect.
Yes. Okay. But yes, that is one of the things that we're doing. I'm super excited about it.
Do we have a full moon coming up?
Well, we have a new moon is on Thursday, which I did want to talk about.
Tomorrow. Okay.
Because the new moon is well, I love the full moon. I love the new moon because I love thinking about the possibilities, right? And that is the new moon. That's the new moon ritual, is like writing down your dreams, writing down like everything you're casting out to the universe to come true in the best possible way. I love that. And you practice new moon stuff, right?
I do. Yes, I do. And I'm a believer in it. And I love it so much. And I used to be like, just say it out loud. And I used to be like, maybe take a note on my phone. Now I write it down. It's so much more powerful to me anyway, writing it down for full moon release and for new moon invitation. I, though, am working on a few personal things in my world where I'm calling in specific things. And it's like I've got an internal battle. Like I know it's best for me. Yeah. But I need to release some other stuff that I'm having a hiccup with. So there's still a lesson to be learned there as I'm inviting things in. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Well, okay, are you putting in your new moon, your dreams and what you're throwing out there? Are you putting in, are you asking, are you put, like, you can make positive affirmations, like, I am releasing my trauma. I have released the trauma in my life. I have released my fear. I have
I'm
whatever.
doing it now. You bet that I'll be doing that tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah, so do it some, like, you know how, like, I love the I am statement. So I am trauma free.
I will be putting that on a t-shirt as well.
I am trauma free.
I'm trauma free. Mm-hmm.
I have no fear. I am trauma free. Oh, I like that.
I love that.
Yeah. And then, so here's the thing. Here's what I do. And people, I'm sure have heard this, but I write this stuff down and then I say it 3 days. I mean, 3 days. I say it 3 times every morning. It's first I do my gratitude and then this is what I do. So this is an example. So I have like a page and this is from April 20 because it was anyhow, if they're uncertain months, I save them longer. So it's like 2 pages. 2 pages of stuff. And then I say it 3 times every morning. And I will tell you that is the thing. If you want change in your life, that is the ticket.
Really?
That's the ticket.
Okay.
And
the thing is, that makes sense to me. It makes sense to me because when you are the Pilates instructor in me knows that consistency is key. Anytime I've ever wanted anything in my life, to put it on like just in your vision. I'm not saying you have to blast it out on a vision board or scream it from a mountaintop, but just internally, personally, know that is where I'm headed. Anytime I've ever had a goal and that's it, I become obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Times I'm saying it 1,000,000 times a day and I'm honed in, and consistency is what gets it done. Yeah. And I see it all the time in Pilates. Some people are consistent, some people are whimsical and half-assed doing it and all that stuff. So I know that consistency is the way to go. I just need to translate that more into my spiritual practice.
Well, and here's the thing, like, I'm sure that you know people like this, and I work with clients like this that can't quite say like what they want. There are a lot, I mean, which is interesting. People can't say what they want. But here's what you can do. Even if you can't identify this is what I want, you can identify this is how I want to feel. So even if you're just putting out there like I feel free, I feel luxurious, whatever, who cares? Just put it out there. It's just a starting point.
Yeah.
Right. And you can always change it. That's another thing is like, I love, like when I write these, I love leaving a little space because like writing, I like to go back and edit. Like maybe I'll be saying it for a few days and I'm like, I need to shift that a little bit. Okay. And that's the beautiful thing that we can do. So it's kind of like you're writing your story, you're writing your life. And the new moon is the perfect time to do it.
So say tomorrow is the new moon, and I don't even know what time of day it like peaks or anything, but with your journaling and your writing, your affirmations and stuff, when would you start that? And
well, so people say, whoever says, so the new moon is tomorrow, but you can start tapping in that energy today and still have it on Friday. So you've got about 3 days. And like, I like to think about things a little bit before. So I'll write tomorrow, maybe tonight, but I like to think about things. I like to make it kind of a beautiful experience. Like I really do. I like to feel like I'm putting time, like it's almost like meeting a friend for tea, right? Like you savor that time to put about like, what do you want to put in your life?
Okay.
Instead of being scattered and frantic. And so I know that some people, if they've got young kids or soccer moms, whatever, take the journal with you in your car. Have the kids swimming in the pool or doing whatever. You go back out to your car and you just enjoy writing in your journal. Ask me if I've ever done that. I have.
I love that. Yes. Yeah. I mean, because a busy mom is a master multitasker and can get.
Yes. I mean, yes, I'll just say yes. At one time I had a golden minivan.
Oh my God, golden goose.
I worked a lot out of that. I would take the kids, drop them off at the pool, go out and go back out in the parking lot. And sometimes I'd even do readings from my car.
Yes. I think it's important to note, listeners, Polly's youngest is a fantastic swimmer, like nationally ranked. So she wasn't
Oh,
like
he's not nationally ranked. He's good enough. He's not nationally ranked. He's good.
an amazing swimmer. So my point is, she didn't just throw some non-swimmers into the deep end and leave them to drown. They knew what they were doing.
No, they could swim. They could swim or do climb, whatever they were doing at the time.
Yeah.
What they're still doing it at the time.
Yeah.
They are still. Okay. But I'm just saying that even no matter how busy we are, make the time to take care of yourself, because it's in whether it's astrology or whatever, do self-care, practice self-care, and just enjoy getting to know how you feel, like when you are journaling or when you are meditating or when you are praying. Like, just enjoy that experience.
Yeah.
Okay, but we got to talk about this particular new moon, because it's the Virgo new moon, correct?
Yes, it is Virgo new moon. Mm-hmm.
Okay, can I tell you another secret?
Oh my God, I'm leaning in. Talk to me.
Oh, I am too. Okay, so you know how I used to not like Geminis, even though you are one? And
no, I had no idea. Now I'm pissed.
Half the people that won retreat were Geminis, so now I like Geminis.
We won you over.
Okay.
That's what we do.
Okay, I used to not like Virgos either.
Really?
Because they can be so critical, right? They can be hypercritical, but
no,
now I do.
They are particular.
They are particular. Okay. So here's the thing. I know, and you know how I say I'm lazy because I'm just like, whatever, right? I'm not particular. I can't stand the details. I hate the details.
Understood.
That's the problem. Okay, but anyhow, so we are in the Virgo new moon, and so I love this new moon to really focus on your physical body. What do you want in your physical body? I love it. I love it for that. I also love it for how do you want to be of service to others? So anybody out there that has like a dream to be a life coach, to be whatever, put that stuff down. Like, start making plans for that. Like, how can you be of service to others? And I also like this new moon to write down, like, how, what area do you need help from the service of others, right? So maybe is it time for you to hire a life coach, right?
Okay.
So it's really like tune into how you can be of service and how others can be of service to you, if you will. And then I also like to put in some, put attention to the detail of what you're writing, right? For example, if you're doing something with your health, you want to be specific. Like, I want to feel, physically strong and balanced. Like, I want you to put, like, I want you to put the detail in there, right? Like a good Virgo would. Like, pay attention to those details.
Yes. I like that. And obviously the Pilates instructor in me loves the physical body goals. I'm here for that.
It's so good for your business right now.
Okay.
I mean, it's actually a great month for you to really tap into that new moon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the Virgo dates are August 23rd to September 23rd-ish.
I don't know.
I think so. We're going to go with yes.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, Kristen. Okay, but here's the other thing is I would also like put in there, because Virgos can be critical, and we all can have those moments of where we talk, with self-doubt, or we talk bad things about ourselves or others. And so that's another opportunity to tap into that on these new moon goals of having, how could we do it? Like, we really want to practice self-love and the love and respect of others. So something about self-love and respect of others, and get away from the critical judgment stuff.
Yes. Like, just more positive self-talk, and the way we make a statement becomes less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And so here's another thing is, like, when you're doing your goals for this new moon, and I don't know, should we use the word goals? But basically this is what you're casting out to the universe. Really pay attention to the way you feel when you write them. For example, somebody wants to, Give me a problem. Not okay. Again, do not give me a problem, Kristen. Pretend that the bird outside the window has a problem.
That bird wants to make a career change.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So if you start focusing on the career change, pay attention to the way you feel when you use certain words, right? So if you start using certain words and you're like, it makes you feel bad about yourself or you don't like the way it feels, shift the energy and really play with the words so that you're writing something that feels good to you, where you feel like you're being empowered and it feels truthful, and it also feels like you have to be able to connect to the words that you're using, because you're going to say them 3 times every single morning. And so it has to feel like it resonates with you. You have to believe it. You have to be able to feel it.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Because feeling is everything. That's the intention. That's the actual like meat of what's coming in.
Yes. And so if it's something like if there's an area in your life that doesn't feel good, like you want to bring about change, really choose the words that bring more light into it. Even if you like you just say, I am ready for change, for positive change in my career. Chances are you are ready for positive change in your career.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're going to stay with the same company for 20 more years, you're still ready for positive change in your career.
For sure. Yes. Yeah. Okay. And I love how that is in, like, I feel it's equal parts specific yet open for the universe to deliver whatever capacity like is easiest and best received. Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
I think oftentimes that's the struggle, is we know what we want. Like once you know what you want, then putting it into motion is being specific with your goal, but also leaving that door open so you allow the universe to give it to you, and you don't, you're not limited to one way of receiving. It's got to be like, I am open to anything.
Yes, to the best possible ways.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so astrology looks at elements, and I love that. Like you can look at a chart. Okay, this is something that's kind of interesting. We gotta do your chart, Kristen, because I don't know.
Have we?
I don't know. I know nothing about you now, except you're a Gemini.
Except I'm a Gemini and I got an affinity for butterflies.
That's all I know. Okay, so we look at elements, because how much do you pay attention to elements in your life? Do you try to stay balanced between air, water, earth, and fire?
No, but I should.
Well, it's kind of interesting though, right?
Yeah, it is. And you know what? Here's the crazy thing. I personally, I live in Southern California. I live at the beach, essentially, and the homes are very close together. We don't have a yard to speak of. It's a lot of concrete. And yes, I have sky above me, but neighbors are really close. And so I have found that I grew up in Missouri in the middle of nowhere, Farmville. And I can remember just laying on a blanket in the backyard, like my hand in the grass on the side, and looking at the sky. And it was just massive and vast. And I felt so connected and peaceful and as one. Now that could be because I was a kid and I wasn't paying bills or anything, so that could have been a factor. But I went to the beach last weekend and laid down on a blanket, feet in the sand, and stared at the sky and tried to like find that feeling again. And it was hard for me to tap into it.
So interesting.
Mm-hmm. And then I got in my head and I was almost frustrated with myself that I couldn't zen out and just empty my mind enough to be like, float away with the clouds.
So how do you feel? I mean, do you feel not as connected to the earth?
Well, it made me feel like I was out of practice connecting to the earth. Like it took so long just to relax into it. Like it really was a self-check moment where I think I do, I work a lot, I'm inside a lot. And when I'm outside, I'm usually working out. Like I'll go on walks, walk the dog, maybe just sit outside. But the laying on the ground and staring at the clouds, I think is my jam. And that is something that really brings me back to a spiritual, peaceful connecting with the elements. Like you said, it brings me back to that place. It's got to be a priority for me personally. Everyone has their thing. And I think that's mine.
Well, yeah, everybody does have their thing, but I feel like that's a super important thing for wellness, right? Is
Yeah.
to be able to lay on the ground or lay right to be outside on the earth.
Yes. Yeah.
And water, I mean, oh my God, who do you not, I mean, do you know anybody who doesn't love being near water because it helps clear their
Oh, exactly.
emotions, right? It's makes you feel so good. Air, we obviously need it, but who doesn't love, well, there are some people that don't love it, but I love a windstorm. I love a windstorm coming in, just blowing everything away.
Yep.
I mean, well, fire. Now, fire is interesting because we use fire in a lot of ceremonies, right?
We do. Yes. And fire is the easiest element for me to respect because it dominates you and shows its power so quickly.
Interesting. But water does also, right?
Yeah.
You do a misstep in the ocean.
Maybe I've just burnt my fingers with curling iron when I was younger so much. I have more respect for the
And
heat.
here's something that's interesting. I have like no fire in my chart. So
Really?
you think fire is like get up and go? Zippo.
I got to do my chart.
But that's why I can say that I'm the lazy girl, but I have a whole pile of stuff in my first house, which is associated with Aries and fire. But isn't that interesting? No fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fascinating. Now I want to do a deep dive into your chart. We should chart ourselves and switch charts and read about each other and see if we really know one another.
We could do that. I'm going to do yours. Okay. And then we also talk, anyhow, there's just so much to astrology. There's like so much, like one class that I took, I loved this. I did love this for her, or what she taught. Anything in the 12th house, she said, that it was like your guardian angel. So your 12th house is like your spiritual house. A long time ago, many moons ago, they thought of like the 12th house was more like if you were incarcerated, or it wasn't thought of so heavenly. And now people look at it as like your spiritual development, blah, blah, blah. And so the planets that you have in there, she says, are like your guardian angels, which I think is very cool.
And weird that it translated from like an incarceration type vibe to more of a spiritual vibe.
Yeah. But I have Venus. I love that. I love feeling like I have, this beautiful abundance guiding me.
Yeah. I could see that. I can
It's
see
fun.
that.
It's just fun. Here's the thing. It's all fun.
It is.
Don't take it too seriously. Can I say that also?
Yes.
Do not take it too seriously, because you are still driving the car of your life.
And that is so important in astrology. If you get a reading, any kind of healing, anytime there is a prediction or an energy reading made, it is just a suggestion. And oftentimes it's like, hey, this is where your energy is headed. But guess what? There's always a detour and a fork in the road.
And you can change things. Absolutely. I mean, and I do psychic readings for a living. But absolutely, if people stay on the path they're on, this is how I'm reading it. But oh my God, people have the power to change their life. They just do.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. I wanted to bring up one other thing because I think it's kind of an interesting one, is horary, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, astrology, and that's used, they can use it for predictions or to find things. And I actually started taking a class on this, but I got so bored I quit.
Do you mean like find lost items?
Yeah.
Huh.
But okay, I will say this. This is what's really interesting. So I've taken 3 different people's classes, like astrology teachers classes, where you meet weekly on Zoom, and then you have subgroups, where you read each other's charts and stuff. So I've done, like, over the years, I've done 3 of them of different levels. Okay. And what's interesting is how each person, so these are all very well-known astrologers that I took their classes, but each of them have different, like, their students are all different. Like each astrologer attracts a different vibe of student.
Okay. I mean, I guess that's to be expected,
Yeah.
but that just shows you how astrology is truly an umbrella term that
Yes, that's such a good way of putting it. Yes.
yeah.
And then I just there's this, okay, this is kind of funny. And this guy is on the Gaia channel. I did not have my reading done with him, but my husband slash boyfriend slash partner did a few years ago. And the way he does it, and so this guy's very well known. He does, and I do love this. He just looks at the houses, but then for each house he pulls a tarot card.
Ooh.
And I like that. But
Yeah.
here's the thing. The guy didn't, this is funny. He didn't pay for Zoom. What is Zoom? Like, I think I paid $55 a month. He didn't pay that. He didn't pay
So
for Zoom.
he gets like a free 30-minute and then it kicks
Yeah,
in.
and then he had to dial back in. I'm not kidding you.
That kind of chops down the professionalism a little bit. And
I thought it was very interesting.
You're suddenly out of the zone. You got to get back in. That's funny. You know, though.
It was funny. And he pulled, oh my God. There were some funny parts, but he did pull a card representing me. And he did make some comments about me. And that was 2 years ago.
What did he say? Do you remember? First of all, do you remember? Do you want to share?
I'm not going to share on the radio, but I will say it was funny.
Was it?
I will say he wasn't too far off.
Ah.
It was funny. So anyhow, I do love astrology. Okay, I'm hoping that we put some humor into astrology and the potential of astrology.
Yes.
You know what? Here's my last thing before we pull a card. Get like a Vedic astrology reading and then get a Western and see what fits best with you.
Okay.
Take a class. I mean, that's another thing. Take a class because you'll learn a lot. You'll learn a ton. You work with other people. You meet other people. So take a beginning astrology class or take an intermediate astrology, whatever, wherever you are. Take a class. They're super fun. Like if it's like if it's Zoom and you meet, so you're actually interacting with people, not the thing where you're doing it and watching the old videos. That's not as exciting. It's not as interactive.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm intrigued. I'm doing my chart. I'm gonna have a full report for next week.
Okay, I'll do your chart for you, Kristen.
Okay.
Okay.
Hard.
Let's pull did you already pull?
I did.
Oh, I love that. And it matches your
oh my gosh.
colors in your butterfly.
Oh, excuse me. Ace of Angels, Wisdom.
Hmm.
So I kind of like this. It's I super like this. It reminds me of like new ideas, innovations, kind of like cutting through the fog to find a new idea or cutting through like a limited belief to get past that and have a new opportunity or a new manifestation. And kind of like maybe one that you weren't anticipating. Like once you get rid of a limiting belief or get past it, then suddenly there's a floodgate open for all sorts of new and exciting things to come your way.
I love that for the new moon.
Totally. Yes, that's very new moonish.
Yeah. So bottom line of that is, people, this is a great time to tap into new things, just like maybe do like a open writing. What's that called? Where you just let thoughts flow.
Oh yeah, like a channeled writing kind of.
Yeah, just see what happens. Just kind of play with the idea of doing different things. How would it feel? Do that before you come up with your list, because oh my God, so many possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So many possibilities. Okay, what am I getting? What am I getting? I have the first one that popped up, 9 of Wands, determination. So this reminds me of, so what they're showing me is it's like, imagine that there's like this little barrier, and it's like, imagine that you're running a race, and at the end, you know how they have the tape, the plastic, you have to bust that and then you win. So it's that much, it's just like this little film, this little tiny barrier then stay on course. You're almost there. So whoever's listening, you are almost there. I want you to imagine busting that little barrier. It's so thin, that little barrier between you and your dream life. I want you to imagine busting that barrier, and then you have it all. You're so close.
I love that.
It's just like this tiny, thin little membrane. It reminds me of like when I used to do labor and delivery. You know, you have a little baby, amniotic sac, have that little membrane. Bust that little membrane.
And there you are, and you are born, and a star is born.
And a star is born. So listen, everybody who's working on something, do not lose sight of that. Like really hold that dream close to your heart and just imagine how you're going to feel as you cross that finish line, as you cross that membrane. I love it.
Yes. Oh, I love that for us.
I love it for us too. Mm-hmm. I love it for all of like everybody listening.
Yes. The collective.
Do not give up. Do not give up. This is not the time to give up, friends.
No.
No.
It makes me happy. It makes me happy and hopeful. I always have like a huge sense of excitement and hope around the new moon. Like, let's do this. Game on.
I do too. And I love the full moon also. But the new moon is like, it kind of gives me the tools that I'm working with.
Yeah.
It gives me the tools that I'm going to be, you know, the yarn that I'm spinning with for the month.
It keeps me back on track. Like I am very easily distracted and it reins me back in so I can get real specific with what am I doing? What am I doing here on earth? What am I doing with my life? What are my goals? And it gives me purpose. Otherwise, I feel like I'm forward moving, but I'm just kind of like, ooh.
Okay, here's another fun thing. Every sign has a crystal associated with it. Every planet sign. So it would be fun. I don't know. We need to look. What is the Virgo? What crystal is associated with Virgo? Because that, if you have it in your house, that would be kind of another cool thing is to have that supplementing as you come up with your new moon, what you're writing about.
Totally. I believe it is the sapphire.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if anybody has a sapphire ring, sapphire, you know, big hunk of sapphire laying around, just grab it. just grab it.
You never know. Grab your sapphire and let's have a good time.
Grab your sapphire and start doing your dreams or whatever. Like, just grab your favorite crystal.
Yes.
Whatever energy you're working with.
I know we're approaching the end, but just really quick, do you have a favorite crystal?
I do.
What is it?
I think I showed it to you guys. Maybe I didn't show it to you. It's that smoky citrine.
Yes.
Wait. Yeah, smoky citrine. I do. I love it.
I have a favorite crystal as well, but I slept with it last night and it's in my bed. I made the bed and I didn't even take it out. I left it there, but it's a malachite.
Oh, wait, is it that big one?
Yes. Well, no.
How did you lose that thing? It's like the size of a shoebox.
That one I placed in my feng shui, like when you walk in the house and it's in the top for my financial, it's right there.
Okay.
So that one's placed special. But I have another malachite that's like probably in my palm. That's the one that I slept with last night. And now this is the one that I'm carrying around with me today. I'm in a malachite mood this week.
Well, I should get some.
Yes.
Well, you know, the crystal guru Carol, she's bringing me some at the end of the month, some different crystals.
Yeah. I asked her for more malachite.
Is that where you got your malachite?
Yeah.
Was from her?
No.
Okay, I know who you got it from.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going there.
And my friend April gave me my first malachite and it, I swear, changed my financial world. So
you're kidding.
Yeah, it did. It was huge.
Okay, we got to wrap this up, but let's do crystals next week.
Yes. Okay. Sign me.
Okay. Okay. So if you want to learn more about me, Polly Wirum, you can go to my website, pollywirum.com. Find me on Your Tango or Eden Magazine. Kristen?
GaragePilates.net. And you can follow Polly and I together at truth.wellness.psychic on Instagram. And send us a message if you have any questions you want us to cover next week. We love connecting with you guys.
Or anything you don't want to hear us talk about.
Right.
Whatever.
We take requests and denials, whatever. We're here for you people.
We are. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye.
You're listening to Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventures with Kristin and Polly, only on LA Talk Radio.